two of us happy.
All right. I've got a couple of people on for you today. I think Amanda's ready to record, so let's get going. Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the CAA football special playoff edition of our weekly media conference. I appreciate everyone joining us today. For those who have questions, just use the chat feature of the raise your hand icon. Um, Mark, let's get started with just first of all, congratulations on quite a win for your team, 26-21 on the road at Charleston State, a game that probably couldn't have gotten off to much worse of a start, down 14-0 in the first 8 minutes, but an unbelievable comeback for your guys. What impressed you most with the way your team played on Saturday?
Yeah, Rob, kind of what I've been saying all year. It's been giving great effort, having great perseverance and resilience. As you mentioned, it started out, I mean, we had a good drive going, but then
Yeah.
we made a little bit of a bad decision on our play at first and goal from the 6 and gave them the ball back. And they're a team that gets a lot of turnovers, so we gave them one right off the bat. So I guess we got that out of our system. And and then the next possession, the block punt gave them a really good field position. And after the interception, they took one play and scored. So yeah, it was one of those, okay, what's this day going to look like now? But our guys keep fighting, they keep battling, they don't quit, they don't complain, they don't do anything except just play hard. And that's what they did for the remainder of that game. Our defense, did a great job stopping the run. Not really stopping it, but they didn't hit us with anything too big. We limited their explosives after that first 80-yarder, and offense was able to move the ball, and we held on to the ball quite a bit in that first half. Actually, we kept it was almost keep away a little bit, and we were still down two, but I think it gave our guys confidence that we could go down there and hang in there and play with those guys. And our guys just kept battling and fighting, and it worked out in our favor by the time we got to the end of the game. So really proud of, like I said, the effort, resiliency, and perseverance this team's been showing all year, regardless of how it starts, what it looks like at halftime. We just want to make sure we're doing everything we can to get the result we're looking for by the time we get to the end of the game.
I got some questions lined up here for you. I'll start with Mark Nardiki. Go ahead, Mark.
Hello, Mark. Congratulations, first off. Wanted to ask you on two players. Braden Reed, did you expect the kind of contribution you're getting from a freshman and what he's done for you this year?
Mark, good to see you, man. It's been a little while, but anyway, um, I don't think we ever expect the type of performance we're getting from Braden, from any freshman that we have coming in. We're hoping, we know some of our freshmen are going to contribute at some capacity along the way. There's never been a year that we've ever been able to redshirt all of our freshmen just because our roster size is 95 or less. A lot of times they do a really good job contributing on special teams. Every now and then they're forced into action because maybe an upperclassman ahead of them on a depth chart, gets an injury or something like that. So to say that we expect what Braden's been doing, that would not be a true statement. We're excited that he's doing what he's doing. When you watch him and you see what he did from, when he first arrived in the summer and even before that, because he is a local guy, so he would pop his head in here from time to time on his own prior to the summer. But when the team's here in the summer, and when you watch how he works each and every day, whether it be in the film room or extra on the field, I'm not talking about, regular practice. I'm talking about the extra stuff that we hope a lot of our guys will do. He does that. And sometimes you don't get that from freshmen because, a lot of times they don't feel they're going to be playing a lot and all that. So, am I surprised by it? No. Did we expect it? No. But he's doing a really nice job. And, he's got a real good football IQ. I've said this in other conversations because people have been asking about him. His dad's, I think his dad retired now, but his dad's been a high school coach his whole life. So he's been around the game, right? He's probably his dad's ball boy in high school when his dad was the head coach at various places. So he's a student of the game, but his work ethic and what he does to make himself better. He's one of them first guy out to practice, last guy to leave the field guys, does the extra stuff in the afternoon. We're a morning operation in practice. He's a gym rat. He's around here all the time. He's probably here more to these, over in the dorm and over on campus. So really excited for what he's been able to do for us this year. And it doesn't surprise me because he works really hard at it.
One other thing, how about Jabril Mace? I know once David got hurt, his carries went up and everything, but he was even still doing it before that. How about just the kind of explosive sophomore season he's had?
Yeah, yeah, kind of the same story, right? The same thing. He's a junior in the classroom, sophomore in the field. Preseason, if you look at our depth chart, he's listed as the third, running back. And then you got David, you got Ragland, and those guys, they're great teammates. I mean, that didn't surprise me either when he's had the success that he's having. Not that I anticipated anybody to break Westbrook's, single game record, because that was something that's been there for a while. But Jabril is just another hard worker. Obviously, he has talent. He has really good speed. He adds a different dimension than the other two guys because they're a little bigger, a little thicker. He's on the leaner side, but he does have really good speed. And as you see with the kickoff returns and things, he has breakaway speed. But I tell our guys this all the time. If you just work hard and make good decisions and be a good person, when your opportunity presents itself, you'll be ready to have good results. And that definitely is what Jabril has been able to be. I mean, that whole room, they get along really well because, sometimes when you're distributing the ball to three different people when they're all healthy, and who doesn't want more carries, right? As a running back, they want more. And then who doesn't want more targets as a wide receiver? So Jabril just has been doing everything we've asked him to do. And in those games, he's getting 3 carries. He's happy with those 3 carries and his contributions on special team. David goes down. He ends up with 20 carries, and then he does a great job there. So he has just been a great teammate, a really hard worker, a guy who's prepared for those opportunities. And when the opportunity presented itself, he made the most of it. And I'm really happy for Jabril. And so is David, and so is Rags. They're all happy. When one's running down the field for a touchdown, the other two are following him on the sideline. And they're the first ones to go dap them up. So very unselfish room, which is what you need in that room, because you can't give 3 guys the carries they want. So they've been all very unselfish, celebrating and taking advantage of the carries they get.
Thank you.
Mark, let's next go to Barry. He's from the Prairie State Pigskin. Go ahead, Barry.
Good morning, Coach. Thanks for your time. I cover the 4 FCS schools in Illinois, and I was curious. I wanted to start with a quarterback like Rittenhouse and with a receiver like Sobkowitz. They've been together 5 years at Illinois State. And how does that familiarity and that connection show up when you watch them on film?
Yeah, I think they know where, I think he knows where he's going to be. I think he trusts with him being where he needs to be and so on. I haven't watched a ton of it yet. Obviously, our defensive staff has, and then our offensive staff on the other side of the ball. I spend a little more of my time with the special team stuff on Sunday into Monday morning. So I don't have a great answer, but I talk about the chemistry that our quarterback and our wide receiver has, and they've only been with us 1 year. They're both grad guys, but they have really done a good job getting together in the summer, getting together on their own. I remember one story they were telling me where, our quarterback, Pat, lives in Ohio, and Luke, the wideout I'm talking about, lives in Pittsburgh. So on Pat's way home, during one of the breaks last spring, he called Luke and said, "Hey, let's connect and get together and throw the ball." So, they don't have 5 years worth of chemistry together, but they found a way to develop chemistry together. These guys, multiply that by the 5 years you just talked about. And it's probably a big part of the reason why they're able to have the run they're having right now and the success they're having throughout the course of this, not just this season, but previous seasons, and the magical run they're having in the playoffs right now. You can't substitute playing together. And I think that is what has helped us. Everyone talked about some of the guys we had returning, but when you look at our secondary, 5 new starters. So week 1, week 2, week 3 looks a lot different when you're looking at now, whatever number of week we're in now. So the opportunity to play together for everybody on the field, just helps. And for those two to be together as long as they've been, obviously you can see that on the field with their productivity.
Illinois State's defense have been able to pressure and affect quarterbacks throughout this playoff run. And I wanted to ask you what stands out about their ability to do that.
Again, that'd probably be a better question to get a more in-depth answer by our offensive coordinator, Chris Bowden, and our offensive staff. I haven't looked at their depth chart completely as far as I've seen special teams. Here's what I'm noticing on special teams. So I'll kind of translate it that way. They look like they're relatively healthy from all the same numbers I'm seeing running around on the special teams field. So I don't know. No one's 100% healthy this time of year. But when I start looking at the defensive film, I'm probably going to see the same ends and the same inside guys and the same linebackers from week one to maybe week whatever, again, number we're at now, 15 or wherever we're at. But they fly around. I don't see many weaknesses. I have seen some of their film on all three phases, more in the special teams, but they look like they run around very well. They look like they're very aggressive. They look like they are very fundamentally sound, and again, I think to get to this point of your season, those things have to show up on film, so really impressed. I know coach has been there a long time, so I know he's got a great culture and established everything that he wants to do there. And, 1 year to the next is never the same, but right now they seem to be going in a great direction, kind of similar to us. When I watch them on some special teams, they kind of remind me of us because I think we play hard and I think we fly to the football, and it's almost like looking in the mirror, just different color uniform, when I watch them guys running around, and because I think they tackle well, I think they are very aggressive. And like I said, I'm still looking for a weakness. I haven't found one yet. So I'm hoping we don't have many glitches in our armor as well. So we're just looking forward to have a great game. And these games usually come down with who makes the fewest mistakes because both teams are going to do a lot of good things, I think.
Last thing I had for you, Coach, you were pretty emotional in your TV interview after the game. And I wanted to ask you about what are some traits of this team that have really made this an enjoyable run for you and your staff?
Yeah, I mean, I've been here a long time and we have great support from all the way from our president all the way down through our AD and everything. And, this is just a special place. But this group right here, again, from 1 year to the next, even though you do have a lot of the same, as long as you don't lose too many in this day and age of college athletics that we're living in, and we are fortunate that a lot of our guys do stay. You have fifth year guys, sixth year guys, and you go through all the highs, the lows, the ups, the downs, all the things you go through together. I just think this team really has done a great job playing for each other. I think they've been great teammates. There's no selfishness. There's no finger pointing. There's no point and blame on anybody. Again, because there's going to be adversity in the course of a season. And there's been some other years where you hear a little more disgruntled comments, maybe at times. This team, I think we have a really good locker room right now. And so I'm really happy for their success. And, we're a player-driven team. And I think when you have that, when they can handle things on and or off the field, then I think that's a special group. And I haven't had a lot of headaches coming into my office throughout this course of the year. So there hasn't been a lot of drama. There hasn't been too many off the field things. And I'm just really happy for the guys because they put in a lot of hard work and they do everything we ask of them. And when you see them having a success, kind of gets to you a little bit.
Thank you for your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Mark, next question from Griffin. Good morning, Griffin.
Good morning, guys. Hope you're doing well. Mark, I'm curious, Pat came from a very run-heavy offense the past 2 years. What did you see from him on film that made you think, this is a guy who I want to go out and get in the transfer portal last offseason?
Yeah, we're just looking at film. Obviously Connor was here for a long time. Tanner was the backup, and then a lot of our guys are on the younger side, if you will. So we're just watching film, and we decided let's bring in a quarterback. We would have even had room to bring in a mid-year transfer if we didn't lose one guy to the portal. So we did lose a guy, and we felt it was important to bring in a quarterback to, just have some competition, a little more competition in the position. But we like the way he moved around. He doesn't run a ton, but he can run and he can get out of trouble. We had it narrowed down to a couple guys. We were just looking and exploring, and we had it narrowed down to a couple guys. And just the more we talked with Pat, and the more we got to understand what his background was, and so on, and then obviously the more film we watched, but then getting to know him as a person, we just decided to go with Pat, and I'm glad we did. He's been a great addition to our program. He came in the right way. He did a really good job. He's pretty outgoing, and he's pretty vocal. But in the spring semester during spring ball, and then even into the summer months, I think he stayed more on the quiet side just to make sure he was coming in the right way and being accepted. And I'm really proud of how he and our other transfers come in here. They don't come in expecting to play. They come in here willing to compete to earn the play. And I really am impressed with how our locker room embraces those guys, because there's guys that have been, I don't want to say waiting their turn, but hoping for their turn through graduation or something like that. And then you bring in a new guy, and that new guy takes someone's spot that maybe thought they were going to have a spot. But our team has done a great job embracing the new guys, and having them become part of the program and part of the locker room. And Pat's now the leader. I mean, if you come to practice, he's breaking the team down more than anybody. He's very emotional. He's not emotional. He's high energy, I guess is a better way to look at it. When you see someone score a touchdown, he's the first one in there dapping the guy up, whether it's a handoff, whether it's a pass, whatever it is. We just settled on him. We just liked him a little more than the other guy, and we offered him the spot, and he took it, and we're thankful that he did.
Thanks. And then you had a pretty open quarterback competition. I think he wasn't announced as a starter until a couple days before week one. What was it that separated him from the pack in summer and fall camp?
Yeah, he just got the ball out a little quicker than some of the other guys. Maybe a little more accuracy than some of the other guys. It was really him and Tanner were pretty much going head to head, because Tanner had been our 3-year backup, and he didn't have a ton of game snaps under his belt, but he did have the experience and the knowledge behind him just from being in the quarterback room for the previous 3 years and being Connor's backup and also being our punt returner. So Tanner, I mean, is a good athlete. So we allowed those two guys to go head to head. I'm not going to say we flipped a coin, but we did end up settling on Pat just from spring practice through the summer months and then through preseason. And just some of those little things, little nuanced things that he did, as far as, he picked up the system really well. And Tanner helped him. They would come in here and watch film together almost all summer when they're here in July. So, Pat's success, Tanner probably has a lot to do with Pat's success as well, as far as getting him to learn and understand what we're doing from the offensive perspective, just because he's been in the system longer. But we just felt Pat got the ball out a little quicker and with a little more accuracy. And that's probably what came down to making that decision.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mark, the next question from Rock. Good morning, Rock.
Hi, good morning, Mark. Congratulations. And this will be your 4th appearance in the semifinals as a coach. What can you take from those previous experiences and relay that to this team now that you've reached this, as Coach Talley would say, rarefied air?
Yeah, there you go. We need to play a complete game. We need to play a complete game. I mean, if you're looking back at some of those other games, I think only one of them was a home game. I mean, we had one in '09, but the game was done this week. This week would have been the championship game back in '09, because it was only a 16 team playoff. 2021, I think it was, we had South Dakota State here. We need to play full 4 quarters, because a couple of those games we were up at halftime and then came out on a short end at the end of the game. So our approach is going to be our approach. Our preparation is going to be our preparation. We're not going to change anything during the course of the week. We just have to make sure we go out there and play as consistent and fundamentally sound as we can and as physical as we can for 4 quarters. Because like I said, there's been games we've been up at halftime and then they kind of slipped through in the second half. So we just got to go in there and play the best 4 quarters of football that we played all year.
Next question from Eric. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning. Hey, Coach, my question had to do with the last game. Could you speak a little to what you saw from a leadership perspective, what your teammates were, or you guys on your team were saying to each other, what the coaches were doing with the team when you found yourself down 14 to nothing kind of quickly on Saturday, and what you thought about that?
Well, that happened so fast. There wasn't a whole lot at that beginning of that first 8 minutes or so. We just kept, trying to keep our head down and keep playing. When we went into the locker room at halftime, still down two, after moving the ball pretty well and settling for a couple field goals and so on, having that block punt, having that big explosive play. Like I said all year long, there was no panic in the locker room. There was no, and there's been some years where, maybe we're not scoring as much as we thought we would. And maybe some guys on one side of the ball are saying, come on, guys, you got to do your part. Or maybe we're scoring more, but we're not holding the opposing team down. Hey, come on, guys, you got to do We're not getting any of that with this team. We go in the locker room. Basically, the leadership has been great. It's coming from the players. They're basically going in there saying, we have 30 more minutes to play. Let's go out there and play the best half that we possibly can. And that's kind of the way it's been going. It's been fun to watch, because if you watch our sideline, the defensive guys are getting excited when the offensive guys make a play, and the offensive guys are getting excited when the defensive guys make a play, and everyone's getting excited when special team makes a play. So like I said, that's just what I think this team has right now. I think the camaraderie and the chemistry, or whatever it is, right? People say, does this team have it? Well, no one can really explain what that is, but you know when you have it and you know when you don't. And this team seems to have whatever that is that allows them to play well together. No jealousy, no selfishness, very selfless team. Everyone's excited for their teammates' success, not just their own. And like I said, that's been fun to watch. And they develop that. They have to do it because every year it's a different team. You could have all 22 starters back from a year ago, and it's still going to be a different team, because you're going to have some new freshmen and you're going to have some guys that graduated. Now, we've never had all 22 starters back, but there's years we've had a good nucleus of starters back. But you got to get those new pieces to fit together. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they don't. This year, it seems like they have all come together pretty well.
So you've got this surprise one more home game, which probably speaks volumes to your opponent and what they've done to advance through this bracket. Can you speak to the pros and cons of that one more home game at night? It's going to be a little chilly and what have you.
Yeah, well, I think they come from cold weather as well. So I don't think the weather is going to be a factor. Who knows, right? And the weather's never a factor. It's an outdoor sport. Both teams have to play in it, no matter what it is. But yes, in 2010, we had a similar path that they've been taking right now. And, travel can be challenging at times. I tip my hat to this team because, the season they had, they go through a pretty rough schedule and go through the gauntlet, if you will. And we like to think we play a pretty rough schedule as well. And we always say the CAA prepares you for these moments in the playoffs, because week in and week out, you got to be ready. And I know that the conference they're coming from, they're saying that probably as much, if not more, than we say it. But for them to go to the places they've gone and still be out there and perform at the level they're performing, I tip my hat to them. I am glad we're not taking a trip across country. I am glad we have a home game. But I'm sure they're as excited as we are to be playing in this game. So you got to go out and play really well. You got to go out and play really well. So we're in final exams right now. So hopefully that's not going to be too big of a distraction as far as, guys doing some work. I don't know what their exam schedule is. They're probably done with their exams, if I had to guess. So they're just focusing on this game and this game only. So they can work on getting some more of the rest maybe that they haven't gotten with some of these trips. But, I'm excited that we are playing at home, and we'll see. But again, no matter who you play this time of year, you better be ready to play because you're going to be playing a very good, formidable opponent.
Thanks. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, Eric.
Mark, I just want to ask you one more, and we've talked about the defense now for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but this is 3 games in a row that you've played one of the top offensive teams in the country. Charleston was #1 in scoring, that you've held to their lowest point total all year long. Saturday, I think you had almost 10 tackles for loss. What were they able to do so effectively, on Saturday? And I know we've talked about it, but how have they been playing just so lights out here over this 3-week playoff run?
Yeah, we're just trying to keep it simple, Rob, right? Stick with the fundamentals. Let's just make sure we're hitting the gaps properly. Let's make sure we're able to cover down the field better. And we have been getting better each and every week. It's a team that's, Coach Pennypacker and the staff on defense, Coach Bowden, obviously on offense. They're doing a great job preparing our guys. Our guys are doing a great job of taking one day at a time. Let's not lose sight of what we're trying to do here, but let's make sure we're where our feet are and we're being in the moment and being present with what we're doing. So, our tackling has gotten better. Our coverage down the field has gotten better than earlier in the year. We've stayed relatively healthy. We do have some guys that have been out, but some of the guys, that next man up mentality, some of the guys that now are getting the opportunity, just like we talked about with the running back situation, the next man up mentality has been good, and our guys have been preparing really well. And each guy's helping the other. The older guys are helping the younger guys. So when the younger guys get in there, they know what to do. They've been doing a good job with self-film study and doing a little extra. Not every team does that. Not every guy does that. So we're just trying to play as fundamentally sound as we can, trying to be as physical as we can, and trying to be as opportunistic as we can. And we did get an interception that helped us on a scoring drive in that game. So, really proud of how the guys have been showing up each and every day. And it comes back to the effort, Rob. It comes back to the effort. We're flying to the football. Our guys are playing physical. Our guys are playing the fundamentals the way we're asking them to play the fundamentals, but then the tackling and all the technical things that maybe weren't where they needed to be in week 1, 2, and 3 have improved over the course of each and every day in practice, each and every day with what they're doing on their own outside of practice and outside of the classroom. And then obviously there's no substitution for the amount of experience you gain just from playing in the games.
All right, Mark, thanks so much for doing this with us and the media members here today. Good luck on Saturday night against Illinois State, and hopefully we're talking again here before a championship game.
Sounds great. Appreciate it, Rob. Thanks everyone for being here.